Buongiorno. ¿Cómo está?
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. I never knew you spoke foreign, Kev.
Only a little bit. Well, English is foreign to me if you actually think about it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Very true. Good morning and welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's good today. Welcome to RVTV. So we've got Kev, usual guest on, and we also got Chris from Let's Talk Tottenham. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit, Chris, when you started supporting Spurs, why you started supporting Spurs, and any other stuff like that, that'd be great.
Yeah, why I started supporting Spurs, that's my dad and Gary Lineker's fault, I'm afraid. So my dad's been a Spurs fan, so however long he's been a Spurs fan. The first football I ever watched was he had a video highlights thing of Italia 90. Obviously, Gary Lineker was our guy getting all the goals, so I followed him. He played for Spurs at the time. And then the first game I ever watched live, my dad was watching the 91 FA Cup semi-final, which obviously we won. And then, kind of stuck that way. And then a few years later, we then go and sign Jurgen Klinsmann, who I knew about. So that was game over.
Yeah, and you've been suffering ever since, eh?
Absolutely. That's why I've got no hair.
It's all the good years. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a shame. I do feel a bit sorry for you that the 90s were so bad. At least it got a bit better when Martin Yole came in. But it wasn't.
No, you never know this season, top of the league, undefeated. You never know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so we'll start off with Tottenham versus Leicester. Little bit shaky in the first half. We've got the team down there. So it's Lloris, Romero. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Apologies. Lloris, Lenglet, Sanchez, Dyer, Sessegnon, Perisic. Quite surprised to see him at right wing back. Højbjerg, Bentancur, Sessegnon, Harry, Kulu, and Richie. So, bit of a frustrating first half, I thought. And Big Dave doing it again. What were your thoughts on the first 3 minutes, Kev?
Well, it's just a disaster. I mean, Sanchez ran around like headless chicken, wasn't he? Just, from one disaster to the next, and it's inevitable. It's just like, oh, here we go. Totally bonkers. Totally unnecessary.
It seems to me that it always depends on the first few minutes with that guy. If he gets a decent touch or a decent pass, then he settles down. But as you say, he does run around like a headless chicken. If something goes wrong within the first couple of minutes, you know that he's going to have a stinker for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I know.
Which I think, it's not really something that you want when you're challenging for top four or even title.
Trying to win a game.
Exactly.
Well, those clean sheets went out the window, didn't they? He's racking up for a few weeks there. So
yes, yeah. And yourself, Chris?
Well, I was right behind it. I thought it was a question marks whether it was outside or inside, but it was a dead cert penalty from the moment it happened. But I mean, Conte must be thinking, right, Dave, I'm putting you in. Don't do. Oh my God! I must just think. Yeah, but that hole came about when it was a long ball up to him. He could have chested it down. He swipes his foot, he scuffs it, goes straight to whoever it was, and then
Justin, I think
the rest then happens. I've watched the penalty back again, and Lloris does move off his line, but I imagine he moved off his line when Tielemans scored, but that one's okay. But brilliant save, but I guess it didn't matter in the end. But yeah. But then after that, Sanchez didn't do a huge amount wrong. I know we had a few, certainly towards the end of the first half when they scored, which had been coming, but I didn't think that was just him. I think that was a team kind of thing. So I don't really remember him making it, but obviously that penalty was all him and just a complete catastrophe from him 3 minutes into the game.
It was Sessegnon's fault.
He didn't play that well, certainly defensively, I didn't think.
He's not strong enough in the air, and I think they targeted that because for their second goal, and I have to say I'm not particularly keen on the bloke, but
Yeah, brilliant.
That was a brilliant goal by Maddison. But
Look, his knee.
Castagna completely took Sessegnon out and just bullied him.
Yeah, there's another bit in the second half where the ball's gone up and Sessegnon's like looking around him, and then all of a sudden it's fallen to whoever's in front of him here, and he's looking over there, and it's just luckily that didn't come. Oh, that was the Patson Daka chance that Laurie saved. That was it came from Sessegnon not knowing where the ball was, and then all of a sudden it's right in front of him with him turned the other way.
Yeah, but I think it's I'm not really sure what the other option apart from Perisic there is. I thought Perisic played okay at right wing back, but on the left,
he can play there, can't he? Because he did for Ireland, but then it's obviously his wrong foot on that side.
Yeah, But what's going on with him at the moment?
It can't be helpful for him or Spence. You know, Emerson's out the team. You're still on the bench. We're putting our left wing back over there. I don't know.
I did hear. I think it was in one of Conte's pressers that he was that he's not 100% fit. But he still came on for 10 minutes against who was that? That was Marseille, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think towards the end of last season, he looked absolutely brilliant. He looked like the player that Mourinho bought. But then Mourinho played him in completely wrong position. He can't play as a right wing back. He can't play as he can't play as a right back. He can't play as a left back. You need him to be attacking. I remember I think it was the first game of the season against Everton, and he almost scored. Not this season, last season. And I thought, we got a hell of a player here, but unfortunately, it didn't seem to work out until towards the end. But the Harry Kane's goal, what a ball by Kulu. That was absolutely.
He's done that time and again this and last season, hasn't he? I Harry Kane, fantasy football treble captain. I got quite unlucky. 6 goals and Harry Kane only gets 1 and 1 assist. Well, should have slightly unlucky there, but I'm sure we'll talk about the person who got most of the goals later on.
Oh yes, definitely. But I do find it quite interesting how he's the one who's been dropped before yesterday for the last 3 games.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Son hater. I absolutely love the guy. But he did deserve to be dropped. He was not firing. This is going to give him that confidence boost. And obviously he's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet next time. Seeing a lot on Twitter, etc., how people are hating on him and they need to apologise to him. If you're not performing, I'm sorry. As Conte said, nobody's undroppable.
No,
what are your thoughts on that, Kev?
Apologise.
Well, I think possibly his head wasn't in the right place since the start of the season. I don't know what it was since he came back from Korea, from the tour game and whatever. It just ain't been on. I want, like I say with Kane sometimes, you think they've been tapped up on the quiet, and they're mulling it over, whatever for next year, that kind of stuff. And maybe it's affected him that way, Football's got a funny thing going on in the background,
Yeah, but it could also be all that, how famous he is in Korea and the photo shoots, and he was going down the Dele Alli route for a couple of weeks, but I think he's got his dad would have given him a kick up the jacksie.
I think so. Yeah.
Hyung-min dad is an absolute legend. So
that's what you want.
Absolutely. But, and then the Eric Dyer header. I think Dyer gets a lot of unwarranted stick. He makes a lot of mistakes. Well, not a lot of mistakes, not as many as Big Dave. But I still think he's a decent anchor to the team. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Fulham game where Mitrovic's goal came from Romero dangling his foot, not really putting a challenge in. If that was Eric Dyer, he'd be getting pelters. But then Eric Dyer gets pelters anyway because he's not closing him down. But every team, every fan has their own scapegoat, and Harry Winks doesn't play anymore, so fans have got to get another one. It seems to be Eric Dyer, but I mean, if Harry Maguire is good enough to be in the England squad, then so am I, let alone Eric Dyer. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad player. He makes mistakes. Is he the best defender in the world? Absolutely not. Is he the worst? Absolutely not. He's a bit of a leader, I think, certainly compared to what we've got. I quite like Eric Dyer, and he's not the greatest, but he tries every single game, I think, puts 100% in every single game, and formed a fairly good partnership with Romero and Davies at the end of last season, hopefully Lenglet now. So, yeah, he deserves criticism if he gets things wrong, but then other players sometimes get away with that, I think, when they do exactly the same thing because it's not Eric Dyer. So, yeah, I'm with you, Jens. I quite like Dyer.
Yeah, because he doesn't have he doesn't have an O on the end of his name. Then he's not as popular with the foreign exotic players playing football fan lovers, because it does seem that everybody wants to have someone who's a little bit different. He's not Eric. Okay, he grew up in Portugal, but his dad's from Merseyside or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, but what do you think about that, Kev?
He's a stalwart of the club. He has been, all through the years, through the Pochettino years and all the, the other manager upheavals and everything. He's still there. He's solid now and he's matured. He's been brought back into the England fold. They've obviously seen he can still do it above and all the other all around the leagues they can pick up. I think the goal he got yesterday is down to a lot of this tactical genius we've signed. I can't even think of his name, Gio something or other. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. But Gianni Vio. We're going to talk about it later.
I think he's earning his money quite well because these set pieces and these like even the Kulu assist yesterday came from that corner. Yep. It seems like we're dangerous again, whether Sonny's taking them or Perisic is taking them, Kulu's taking them, whatever the way they're working it. Something's happening there that weren't happening last year, even with Eriksen the year before. And, it's exciting when we get a corner because we know something might happen.
Exactly. Apparently, he's got 4,830 set-piece routines.
Yeah.
How?
I've got about 2.
Yeah, knock the ball up to the big man. That's
it. Penalty spot, yeah.
But
it's good to see.
I think in the first half, I never felt 100% comfortable. We made a lot. I've noticed over the last few games, our passing has been really poor. The amount of times, Leicester passed it enough to us, but the amount of times we passed it back to them, it was as if we were saying thank you. Perisic a couple of times lost the ball, and you just wouldn't expect that from someone of his experience and his talent. And their goal, if they had if Jamie Vardy, maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that, if he'd been playing up front, we probably would have been a couple of goals behind because they had some decent chances. That Daka, I wasn't very impressed with him. He's quite lively, but his shooting was... And that handball, shouldn't that have been a red card?
Don't know.
When he went to try and head the ball and put his hands out, I thought that was... Maybe they changed the rules again, but...
Yeah.
He only got a yellow for that. But as we were saying earlier, Maddison's finish was quality.
You know it was off his knee, don't you?
Sorry?
It was off his knee.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It's a high shinner knee. You look at it, you get a shot from behind the goal. I promise you.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, honestly. I'll have to check that out. I thought that was rather a nice volley.
No, he's claiming it as a great one, but you look at it, he runs up his leg and goes in off his knee, and he thinks, thank you very much, and I'm a hero. But honestly, it's off his knee. It really is.
So, on to the second half. Scintillating second half, Sonny is back. I'd like to give a big shout out to Rodrigo Bentancur.
Yeah, I thought he was superb.
He was. And if Sonny hadn't scored that hat-trick, he would have been my man of the match. He's so cool on the ball. He's not, you can say, I mean, obviously this guy is one of my favorite players because I, spawned from the same country as him, but Højbjerg does look occasionally like a bit of a headless chicken, charging around everywhere. Most of the time he gets results, sometimes not. And I think that's why he the opinion of him in the Spurs supporting community is very split. But Bentancur just looks cool on the ball all the time. The way he took that goal, the way that he stole the ball off Ndidi, that is a really quick footballing mind.
Put himself about, isn't he?
What are your opinions on that, Chris?
Yeah, I thought he was absolutely superb. You need that player. We had Lamela before, who the Richarlison earlier in the season, certainly against Chelsea. That player who closes down and presses, then it creates that through the team. And Son's first goal, he won the ball back there as well. He set up Dyer's. He took the corner for Dyer's goal as well. I thought he was superb and set a tempo, certainly in that second half. And yeah, that finish, I mean, that's a Kane's or Son finish, that is. And in terms of Højbjerg as well, I think he's trying to do too much. I think he's absolutely knackered. He played every single game the season before last season, and every single game last season. He had a World Cup where the mental fatigue of what happened to Eriksen he had. And then most games this season, and certainly against who was the European Sporting. I thought a lot of his passes, which were never going to come off, looked really tired passes. But for Son's last goal, it's get the ball, drive, do the simple thing. Son's back on form, give it to the guy who's going to score the goal. And he made it look really easy where someone could have easily overcomplicated that and messed it up. But Son, what lack of confidence? What lack of confidence? Because I thought he was looking really unconfident, certainly against Frankfurt, because when Kane used to get the ball, he was on his bike. Whereas against Frankfurt, Kane gets the ball, he stood there, and it's Richarlison making the
I'll say.
Not Frankfurt, Sporting, sorry.
Sporting, okay, right, okay.
Yeah, and he wasn't making the runs, he was just standing there. So they say as a striker, the time to worry is when you're not getting the chance. If you're not making the runs, you're not getting the chances. I think he possibly got in his head, subconsciously, I'm undroppable here. It doesn't matter what I do. I've just got to start scoring goals. And then it's like darts, the harder that you try, the worse you become. And I think it's possibly like that, overthinking it. And I think that you are droppable. You will be dropped, has made him angry. And then he's turned in that performance. But as that second goal, as soon as he can, after that first goal, as soon as he controlled it for the second goal, you knew it was going to be a goal just because it's what he does. And that confident Son shooting from that distance, right foot, left foot, doesn't really matter. And then making the run for the third goal. And he should have scored another one, shouldn't he, after just before the hat-trick.
I think he had two good chances, didn't he?
Yeah, or certainly had a better attempt at goal. But this is what you want now. And I think teams looking at us probably thought, well, they're good going forward, but then one of their main guys ain't doing anything. And oh my God, now there's four of them. and I think we're along with this set piece stuff that Kev alluded to, I think we're a real threat. And if we can sort that defense out, we can do some real damage this season. And Son back, Kane scoring goals, Kulusevski contributing. Richarlison had a poor game yesterday. But he did win the header for I think Dyer's corner goal. But he's had really good games. Richarlison, one bad game, that's fine. Take him out, rest him, see if that fires him up. And I think that front four really looking good again now.
Yeah, it's a joy to see.
It is, isn't it?
It really
I was
is.
behind all three of them as well, and the place went mad when they went in. He said, isn't he, that he always felt the support of the fans, and the fans were willing him to score. Fantastic. He's back on form again. And his celebration for the first goal, just literally standing there, shows how much it kind of was affecting him, I think. No celebration. Almost a relief to him, I think.
Yeah. And it was nice that Kane was the first one there to go and give him a hug. But his hat-trick I especially liked when Højbjerg went over and picked him up. It's like, yes, you're back, mate. You're back. Welcome back. It's what
happens as well with before the luck wasn't going for him. The one off the bar against Fulham.
Yeah,
he's just hit it too well. West scores 2 goals, forms back, goalkeeper saves it and palms it into the goal. West last week, he palms it out for a corner, or the keeper picks it up. So it's amazing what a couple of goals and a bit of confidence can do. But that first goal didn't look like a player who's lacking confidence to me. A little shimmy, dip it out from under his feet and then whack it in the corner. Didn't look like a lack of confidence to me. But yeah,
The technique,
Yeah,
the technique, the skill
Yeah.
level there. The bends on the ball, the first two.
Yeah, he's a little bit special, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sonny. So let's go on to the next bit. I think this is kind of obvious.
Dave.
It definitely wasn't Langley. Didn't think he played particularly well.
For me, Son will obviously get the man of the match because of 3 goals. I thought we've alluded to him. I thought Benton Kerr was the driving force in that second half with the pressing and everything like that. Scored a goal, set another up. So I know Son will get man of the match, and you can't really disagree with that. But for me, I thought Benton Kerr.
Yeah.
If Son hadn't scored the 3 goals, if they'd have been shared between 2 other people, Benton Kerr would have got man of the match, I think, easily.
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Kev?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, without that.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll go back to, what is it, a week and a half ago.
Before we finish on that, can I just say one bit that made me laugh in the game near the end yesterday when Emerson Royale was on and he got Harry Kane was running down on goal and Emerson was doing the overlap and Harry looked at him and thought, "No, I'm having a shot." And he took the shot. And he thought, "I'm not going to bother passing to him." It just struck me as funny, like, you know.
I didn't really understand that substitution.
No.
Do you think? Have you heard any whispers if maybe Perisic is injured?
I haven't heard a thing.
No, because that didn't make a lot of sense. I don't think Perisic had his best match, but it just seemed like Conte couldn't wait to get his golden boy on there.
Yeah, yeah. Unleash him. Yeah.
I have a rule of giving every player at least a season. Other players I've given longer, but I'm not sure what there is that. I suppose it's his movement, isn't it? How fast he is, how fast he gets up and down. But
the athleticism,
if he's getting those chances, I mean, against Sporting, he probably should have had 2 goals. But he can't cross very well, and he definitely can't shoot.
I think his crossing has actually got a little bit better. The issue is that players, well, he can't cross the ball, so I'm not going to get in the box. So his crosses, I think there were a couple of good ones against Fulham, I think.
Yeah.
But there was no one in the box because he's not going to cross it. What's the point of me expending energy?
Yeah.
Whereas Perisic, they're all in the box because they know there's going to be a quality ball going in there. And then it looks like he can cross the ball and pick someone out because there's people in there. So I think if Emerson can continue bombing up and down like he does and then put some good crosses in, hopefully that appreciation of, well, he can cross the ball now, let's get in the box, to might end up paying dividends. But going up and down, he's superb.
Yeah. I didn't mean to turn this into a let's all have a go at Eric Emerson fucking thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I didn't intend to do that. That one particular point struck me yesterday. Like, that was it. Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention was the change to a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
I thought when Basuma came on, that looked a bit special, and I'm a bit puzzled why we don't play that more often.
Yeah.
He said, isn't he, that he doesn't know the tactics yet, Basuma. Give him 90 minutes and he'll soon bloody learn.
Exactly.
But, But I thought we looked a lot better. I mean, you can argue that Leicester were completely shell-shocked and their confidence back down. That's why we looked good. But there's a brilliant chant for Basuma now, which behind me someone did, and then someone said, "That's the worst chant I've ever heard in my life." And then he was doing it every 2 minutes. He couldn't help himself.
What is it?
I'll try and do it. I can't sing. I can't remember what song it. I think it's the Tequila song. Is do 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 Basuma. Like that. This guy, I think he was probably a little bit drunk, but it's the worst chant I've ever heard, and literally did it every minute. He couldn't help himself. But we were 4, 5, 6, 2 up by then, so we were all in a good mood. But it was very funny.
I was impressed with his cameo, though. I really was. He came on and said, "All right, the game was more or less won," but he came on and he was holding up, he was spreading the ball about, he was beating players and stopping them getting the ball back off him. It looked bloody good. Yeah, I must admit. He's
a brilliant player. And when he does get up to speed with the tactics and he can do. He's a player I think who can do everything in midfield. He can hold the ball up. He can do the Kante kind of stuff. He can do the driving Yaya Toure runs. He can spot pass. He can do the Lampard box to box. I think he can do absolutely everything. He's strong like Dembele was. I think he can do absolutely everything. Bassoon.
Want to wait? Yeah.
Well, we saw that. We saw that at Brighton, didn't we? I mean, I think last season he owned us 2 games home and away. He always seems to love playing against Arsenal as well, so I'd definitely whack him in for the North London derby.
That could be fun.
And I think that's possibly one of the best memes ever, or gifs or whatever you call it, when he's what's his name, Monreal sat on the floor looking dejected, and he's just rolling around laughing. Absolutely brilliant. But okay, so cast your minds back 10 days or so. Spurs Marseille.
Yeah.
A long-awaited return to the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say I was particularly impressed.
What I would say about that, though, is I've seen all of these people on Twitter after the Sporting game going, "Oh, we're terrible," and blah blah. The Champions League don't start until February, so your job is to get in there in February. When we battered Real Madrid in 2017-18, whatever that was, we go to the Bernabeu, get a good 1-1, then batter them at home. Fans going, Real Madrid, who were that? They won it that year. They scraped in to the knockouts and won it that year. Where in 2019 we scraped through with a last minute, a last game draw against Barcelona, got through to the final. And 2019 Man City won their group 6 wins out of 6, looking unbeatable. Didn't do much in the quarterfinals, did they? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all about getting through to that knockout stage. It doesn't matter how, and then it starts then. So I'm not that bothered that we didn't play that well against Marseille. We got 3 points on the board, started off with a win. Sporting, we were that close. We were 2 minutes away from getting a really good away draw. And if the game finishes 3 minutes earlier, those 2 goals don't happen, and then everyone's going, "Wow, we look really good here." 2 goals happen. Don't get me wrong; I was furious about the 2 goals that late, but but if we end up winning the other 4 games, no one really cares about that Sporting game. So it's just make sure. I think it's Frankfurt in midweek, isn't it? Away from home, get something out of that game, and then I think you've probably got 2 home games. But
isn't that double?
Played that great against Marseille, but we got the win and we got Richarlison off the mark as well, which is important.
This is coming of age, wasn't it? Yeah, 2 goals like that. Yeah, he put his stamp down, didn't he? That game.
Yes.
That little banner there, it's like I had a premonition. I said his name and he shall appear.
It's going to feed the 5,000. So the red card obviously changed the game. I completely agree with what you're saying. I just wasn't particularly happy with the performance. But if you play badly and you win, that's always good. Now on to as I said, I completely agree with what you're saying, Chris. But so this header might not be particularly good for you, but
well, I'm off. I thought we actually played quite well. We created a lot of chances, and I think the first 20 minutes of that second half, I thought it's only a matter of time here. We're all over them. If it wasn't Emerson, if it was the opposite way round and it was a Kane or Son or goal, isn't it? And Richarlison took his goal really well, just slightly offside, unfortunately. But I thought if Sporting carry on like that, one of those runs is going to be timed well and going to be onside. But I didn't like the Marcus Edwards running at us where he should have scored. There were 2 or 3 others where one of their players has just run at us for half the pitch and we haven't done anything. But I didn't think we played that bad at all. I don't think we played that bad at all. Last 3 minutes, absolute shocking. You can't do that. You've got to
switched off. Totally switched off.
You got your 0-0 there. You got your 0-0. You got yourself 4 points out of 2 games. Take that back. You haven't won. Okay, that's fine, but it's not the end of the world. And terrible last 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it was. But I didn't think we played that bad in the game.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, Kev.
Go on.
Where were the substitutes?
Was he saving them? Did he think job done? I don't know.
Yeah. It's I find it a little bit frustrating sometimes that he makes the sub so late, and then yesterday he pulls it out of the bag in the 50th minute.
Yeah.
So that is obviously that's a sign of a great manager, that he saw that things weren't really working and he decided to change it. Obviously with Sonny biting, chomping at the bit, he knew that he had someone who could come off the bench and absolutely go for it. But I don't know. I always thought he was one of those managers who, if something's really going wrong at half time, he'll put someone on. Maybe he doesn't see it like that. Maybe he thinks, oh, well, we're 0-0 or whatever. We'll just carry on playing like we are. And it always seems at the moment that the first half, that he just wants us to go out and contain teams.
Yeah.
And then go at them in the second half. Now,
tire them out. Yeah.
Is that is that what you think it is, Kev? Well, I mean, tactics.
Yeah, we'll let them run into the ground and then we pick them off in the second half. But it doesn't always work like that, I'm afraid.
No, especially if you've got very fit teams.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, well, us starting slow in first half. Anything new? This is happening. This has been happening in the Pochettino era. And yeah, yesterday, I get the feeling in sporting that we kind of thought we've won this already. Sometimes it looks like Spurs just like lazy passing, maybe tired passing, but lazy passing makes it look like sometimes you've taken them a bit too lightly. I think we did that with Leicester yesterday, and then we got a kick up the arse with that Maddison goal 2-2, and then that obviously spurred us at half time because Conte, I reckon he may have had a few words at half time. Let's put it that way. But yeah, in terms of the substitutes, he did it last year, didn't he? Brentford, where he made the first attacking substitution after 80 minutes in a 0-0 game, saying that we didn't have the options off the bench, which is true. Now we have, and yeah, I don't know why he only made one sub against Sporting, which was Kulusevski, and it should have been made a lot earlier. But yeah, yesterday, I don't know the Romero one, not the Romero one, the Emerson one. That was a bit odd. But yeah, he changed it with Son coming on, who's obviously, like I say, chomping at the bit, fired up. Basuma on to change the formation and everything like that, give us a bit more control in midfield. So he can do it, can't he? Just for whatever reason against Sporting decided not to, which I guess he probably thought, he said, hasn't he, if you can't win it, don't lose it. So, okay, keep the team, keep the shape, get 0-0, go back to London, and obviously didn't work.
Yeah. But that was interesting. One of his.
I'm going to have to jump off now.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on, Chris.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
Yeah, you too, Kev. Anytime I'm free, then I'll jump on. But yeah, apologies for having to jump off.
Nice one.
Okay, then.
Cheers.
Everybody, make sure that you follow Chris on Twitter. Can you give us your handle, Chris?
Yeah, it's at LTalkTottenham. But if you go on,
I've seen it. Yeah,
YouTube,
I'll follow you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Cheers, and Jay.
Yeah. All the best. Bye.
Bye.
And then there were two.
What we were just talking about he mentioned something in his presser, which I'm not sure is if it could be a hint or so, but he was asked why he doesn't play 3-5-2 more often. And he said it's because he needs a player like Brozovic.
Yeah.
So do you think that might be one of his targets in January, even though everybody knows it's not always that easy to sign players in January?
Yeah, there's something in the pipeline, I think. Yeah, I think that's, I really do. Yeah. They couldn't get completed this for whatever reason in the summer. And I think that hopefully, well, fingers crossed, there is something there.
Yeah.
Because it's the way forward, I think. It spits and sparks. You can see we can do it. But going back to what you were just talking about a minute ago, Romero came on yesterday. I think he's still a bit grog. He's not quite right, I don't think, at the moment. He's not fully fit. I really don't. There's something not quite there with him, you know.
Yeah, I think he's carrying an injury, but he's with Davis being out. I suppose he has to get whacked on the bench. And it was good that he came on for a little bit, but he made one really, really good tackle.
Yeah.
And probably should have scored as well.
Oh, yeah.
another one of those lung busting runs. I don't know how he does that. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I get knackered running for the ice cream van, but you know. But I'm wondering what's going to happen with Tanganga, because he's been on the bench and he only came on once. I think that was against Marseille as well.
Yeah.
I quite like the guy, but I'm not sure. Is he going to be up to the standard that we need?
Yeah, I think that he's homegrown.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's one thing he's got going for him, but is he that next level up? Is he? Can we, without being derogatory, in the Harry Winks mode, or them sort of players we've always had that are local lads down the years? In all my lifetime, they're local lads, and they're there for that factor, you know, and they'll give their heart and their soul for the team, but they're not that quite, you know. They get the goals, but they're not going to be. But there's so many of them down the years.
I've just checked. He's only 23.
Yeah.
So he's still got time. And what was it? I think it was his debut against Liverpool. I thought, Gordon Bennett, we got a player here. He looked so cool.
Yeah.
And but I think he's had injuries. And then over the summer, there was he wants first team football, etc. There were dalliances with Italy and stuff like that. But yeah, as you say, local boy, I always like to see him do well.
Yeah, he's an imposing presence on him when he puts his mind to it. He can really get stuck in and go shoulder to shoulder with anybody, you know, without a fear. But
you look at Big Dave, you know, he's an imposing presence, but
that was him. He was the jumper for the disallowed goal, wasn't he?
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
And then he hit the crossbar with another one, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So he's not all bad, but
no. I'm not saying he's a
flapper. He's a flapper.
Yeah, I advocated for us to keep him last season when everybody was going on about how bad he was.
Yeah.
But he does. Him and who was it? Juan Foyth. They seem to give away a lot of unneeded penalties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And they were a downfall many.
Yes.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Cost us Champions League places and things like that. Them giveaways.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the bigger picture, bigger scheme of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you got anything else you want to chat about?
No, I'm okay. There's a bit of a gap now with the international break, I suppose. So next up was Arsenal, wasn't it? I think in a couple of weeks.
Yes, yeah.
What's that? A Saturday lunch game, isn't it? I think.
I think so.
12:30 on the Saturday. I think 1st of October.
Yeah, never really that hopeful when we go at their place in the North London derby.
I've seen a few victories there. I'm just looking it up now.
It seems to be lately. It's always I remember before it used to be them winning both of them or us getting a draw at home and losing away. But now it seems to be that we sort of shared spoils. We win at home, they win at home. I really would like to see
with a red card involved somewhere on the line. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Or a dodgy offside or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, I really would like to see us turn them over at their place.
Yeah.
When we beat them, what was it, 3-2, when Paul scored the winner. That was an absolutely great day.
Yeah. It's 12:30 on the Saturday the 1st, so it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
After the international break, which I think is a waste of time again. I don't know.
Is it Nations League again, isn't it?
Nations League this time around, yeah.
I think Denmark have got Croatia. We need to win that to win the group, I think.
Yeah.
Because we started out really well. We beat France and but then I can't remember who else we beat. And then we lost to Croatia in a game which we absolutely should have spanked them. But yeah. I have to say, I was quite surprised to see, I know it was a little while ago, to see Damsgaard sign for Brentford.
All right.
I thought there was going to be a lot more bigger teams going in for him. I suppose it's the Danish connection. Thomas Frank, I think the chief executive or something used to be, he's an English bloke, but he used to be chief executive of Midt Jylland, which is one of the best teams in Denmark because he put a load of money into it. Yeah. But yeah, I still thought he could have been something special. But I mean, looking at our front four now, it's you're not really going to want to change that for many more players, are you?
No. Just hope the injuries stay away, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What's Richarlison's injury record like? Do you
I
know?
don't think he's bad. He's,
No?
he's an athlete. I think he's pretty
Yeah.
robust.
Pretty solid, isn't he? So
Yeah, he takes a lot of clattering. He really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like kicking him when he's makes them angry. They like to take him out. There was a few tackles going in yesterday. I thought there's going to be revenge tackles because there was a little bit of showboating going on towards the end there, and I thought, when they were doing that keepy ball, they were like
Forest,
yeah, and I thought one of them Leicester players are going to get a bit up now, and I just hope they don't crock someone just for the sake of it because they think we're taking the mickey, and he said something else. But yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on Mr. Rogers' future then?
You're allowed to say dead man walking because I don't think it can't be any good outcome with this.
Yeah,
and it's only this contractual, isn't it? I think he's due a big payout if he does walk, or
really?
no, if he gets the push. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. I think they're one of the richest families in Thailand, aren't they? So I'm not sure they'd really be that bothered about.
I think it's 14 mil or something like that. It's not small potato. It's something like that. Yeah. But as you say, but then who do they bring in? So
yeah, their new signing, Face, was it? I thought.
Yeah.
The bloke who looks like Sideshow Bob. I thought he looked quite decent in the first half.
Yeah.
And then second half, he just
I was watching some of the Leicester fans' comments on him, and they're not that impressed with him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But then they're not impressed with any of their defenders at the moment. So
what happened to that Turkish fella, Soyuncu? Has he gone?
I don't know where he went.
Right. Okay.
Or if he has gone, I really don't know.
Injured. Yeah. Okay.
But I only watched before I came on here. I was watching Match of the Day from last night. It's another story, but they were saying about and the Leicester fans every time they get a corner against them, they said they're just terrified because they know it's going to be a goal. They haven't got a clue in defence.
Yeah.
It's one of them things. It couldn't happen to a better club. I'm glad. Really
They're a special breed, that lot, aren't they?
Yeah.
I remember one of my. I was going over to Denmark, but we were catching the ferry from Harwich to Hamburg.
Oh yeah, I've been on that DFDS. I've been on that one.
Yes, yeah. And I was sat there. I think it was about 16 with my Spurs shirt on, and a group of Leicester fans came and sat down, and there was one of them who just, you fucking sorry, you think you're special, flash cockneys and all this, and I was like, they were all in their mid-20s, and I was 16, and I'm like, what, what are you doing? I wasn't really very used to that at that age.
Yeah.
But and the fans I've met since, there's something about them. I mean, I lived in Nottingham for a while, and I think the people in Nottingham are lovely, but the people in Leicester just seem to have this chip on their shoulder. Well, the fans anyway.
Special breed.
Apparently there's been mass disorder there last night due to 200 people fighting or something due to some cricket match, India versus Pakistan.
Oh God.
Which was a couple of weeks ago, and they're still going at it. But
lovely.
One last thing I'd like to mention. I thought at the start of the season it would be a good idea to invest 40 quid in that Spurs play thing, because what it insinuated was that you'd be able to watch all of the under 18s and the under 21 matches.
Yeah.
Now, since the Liverpool one, there's been 2 matches and they haven't been shown live, and there's nothing on the schedule. So I think that they've done us the dirty again, dangling a carrot, and we've all spent our money on it, and all it is just highlights and interviews and old matches.
It's a bit naughty.
Yeah, I absolutely. I can't. I mean, it's 40 quid, and I think I've probably watched 4 or 5 of the matches already, so I've got my money's worth. If you're looking at it as a pay-per-view or whatever, but if they're going to continue doing this for the rest of the season, they've definitely sold us an absolute whopper there.
Yeah, that's a bit naughty. Yeah,
Mr. Levy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I had a strange one last night on a similar scene, because Match of the Day was quite late last night. It was 10 to 11.
Yeah.
And I've got Sky, which gives me access to BBC One, Northern Ireland but
Right.
it comes through the TV,
Yeah.
sitting here in the living room.
Yeah.
But I've also got Sky Go, which I can watch all BBC One programs. I can watch any of them. So I was really tired last night. So I'm going to take the laptop upstairs and watch it on Sky Go on the telly, and I'll watch all the BBC News, waiting for it, lying in bed with me earphones on because of the missus, and I was knackered.
Yeah.
And it came on and played the music, and then it came off and said, we're contractually not allowed to show you this because of your location. And I was so pissed off. I couldn't believe it.
How does that work? I can watch it over here.
Yeah, it's just they block it out on the Sky Go because I'm in Ireland, but I can watch it downstairs on the telly. It's ridiculous. So that's why I was watching it this morning before you came on. I thought I better get me fix in so I know what I'm talking about, because I watched on a stream yesterday, which wasn't the greatest quality, and I like to see it in full Technicolor, you know. So, and also I like the aftermatch comments, you know.
Yeah,
you know, Lineker, and it was Michael Richards and Dion Dublin yesterday, like, you know. So I thought it was so petty, you know.
Yeah.
I can watch it downstairs on the TV, but I can't watch it upstairs because I don't pay a BBC license, you see. But that happens the other way around for other stuff. When there's stuff goes on in Ireland, and they can't watch it up in the north.
Really? Okay.
It's ridiculous, you know. Like say Ireland are playing rugby.
They have a joint team, don't they?
Ireland's a rugby team is north and south combined. Yeah. But if it's RTE, the Irish broadcaster showing it, people in the north can't see it. It's restricted. They can't see it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's contractual rights, and most of it's down to the BBC and the state broadcasters. It's pathetic. Yeah. It really is.
Now, I invested in a what do you call it?
Don't say
it. VPN the other day.
Right.
So that was some money well spent, because now I can watch the EFL show on ITV.
All right. Yeah.
I always like to watch the lower leagues to see if I can spot any talent. And I have to say, this guy from Tommy Conway from Bristol City. He's only 19, 20 years old. He's knocking them in like no man's business. Yeah. He's definitely one to watch.
All right.
But yeah. Okay then, mate. I think that's everything for today. Cheers for coming on. Appreciate that. Hopefully we'll do this again next week. Actually, no, next week international break, so won't bother. But probably the day after the North London derby.
Yeah, that'll be 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
let's have the Gooners.
Sorry,
nil down at Brentford at the moment.
Oh, is it? Okay. I shall go and watch that while I'm pretending to clean the house.
And washing up. Yeah. Yeah. All right, then, mate.
Okay. Cheers, Kev. Take care. Come on, you Spurs.
All right, then, mate. Ta-ra.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All the best.
Bye.
Bye. Kill me. Right.